Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to continue talking about the bearishness of Bitcoin, and of course I'm going to be giving you my Bitcoin technical analysis. So I go by the name of Muna. Welcome to Beyond 10x, where we get to talk about cryptocurrency related materials. So without further ado, let's jump into the technicals. I hope you guys watched my previous video. I obviously gave you my bearish bias and the reasons why I am so bearish, so we're not really going to get into that. So right now, obviously the bearishness of Bitcoin continues, and as you can see right over here on the chart, I obviously gave you my 5 Elliot waves, and as you can see right now, we are beginning to jump into the the 5 motive waves to the downside as well. As you can see right over here, let me just give you this corrective pattern so that you guys can be up to date with what I am talking about. So first of all, I'm going to give you the ABC correction that we experienced over here right from the from the top. So this is our ABC correction. Then over here we had this ABCDE correction. So yeah, let me just do that. So as you can see, we've got the first one over here, A, then we'll have the B over here, the C, the D, and then finally we've got the E over here. Let me just reposition this to over here because this was the top, and you guys can obviously see clearly that we then started to decline drastically. This is obviously the first wave, and then we kind of stopped going down right over this area, and then we had to correct right over there. So I believe right now we are on the third wave. We are experiencing a third wave pattern, and eventually we're going to end up doing something like that. We are obviously going to go to the downside. I think it's pretty safe to say that we are going to continue going down. So this is why I am having this bearish bias. And as you can see, if you closely look at the first wave, we've got clearly an ABC structure. So A, B, C right there, and then we bounced back. We were correcting in the second wave here, and right now I think I'm clearly seeing another ABC structure. So I'm seeing something which is going to end up doing that to complete the third wave, but of course it's not really yet clear because we really need to give it a little bit of time. But otherwise we might also experience something which is going to be something like an ABCDE type of wave structure, which is highly unlikely because I can clearly see that this is starting to be the 5 wave structure, which is obviously going to go to the downside. I'm just going to be playing these wave structures. Right now I'm having a short order which is currently on BitMEX, and I'm in a little bit of profit, so I'm just playing these bounces right around these areas. Like for example, this is clearly an ABC wave structure, right? So obviously the correction is going to start from right over here. So if you had to have like a stop loss, your stop loss has to be around the 3,647,000 US dollars right over here. So the only plan that I have is obviously rinse and repeat. So whenever I recognize these ABC corrections, I'm obviously going to be buying and selling, and along the way I'm obviously going to be increasing the number of Bitcoin that I have. As you guys can see, this is my BitMEX account, and I recently opened a position size of about 16,000 contracts, and this happens to be my profit right now. Right now I'm about 1.33% up. Well, down in this case, well, up, if you know what I mean. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I really think that we've got a whole lot of room to the downside, and obviously my profit is going to rise as we continue declining. So as you can see, I'm actually practicing what I preach. Potentially we have to be looking for the next support. So clearly this right over here was the resistance, because they say previous support becomes resistance. So what we are supposed to do right now is anticipate the next levels of support. So over here I have the fib retracement levels from the bottom to the top right over here, and I'm obviously going to be looking out for the 38.20 fib levels right over here. As you can see, we had some resistance over here. So I'm thinking we are definitely going to end up bouncing back right around here. As you can see, guys, you can clearly see this week dropped right around the 38.2 level. So this is actually one of the beauties of fib levels, because you can really get to anticipate where they're going to go and spend a little bit of time in advance. So as you can see, we are obviously going to eventually drop down, and we are most likely going to go to the 23.6 fib levels, which is going to be around the 3,384,000 US dollars. So this is obviously going to happen during the course of next week or during the weekend, because cryptocurrencies really move at a very fast pace. So I'm really hoping that this move is obviously going to shake out a whole lot of people. So right now, as you guys can see, I'm just going to be playing with these little moves right over here. So expect a really drastic downturn, and eventually when we are done with this part, we are eventually going to drop way much lower, because we have to complete the 5 wave structures. Just like right over here, we were going down, and then we had to like you know, have this corrective wave structure right over here. So if you guys had to like look at the whole thing, you guys are going to realize that this was merely you know, a corrective wave from the downside. Within this structure, there's obviously like different waves, and there's obviously different levels to this type of particular correction. So this is what I'm just basically going to be looking at. So I hope you guys really understand the gist of this. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best. You guys are hoping for Bitcoin to go up. I'm actually praying for the price of Bitcoin to drastically go down. So it's all about doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So right now, let's just look at the Bitcoin shorts and longs on Bitfinex, because it really gives us like a huge it gives us some clues as to how the general market is perceiving the whole entire thing, because it really represents how bullish or how bearish people are, and you obviously want to be like on the other side of the spectrum, if you know what I mean. So BTC USD longs. Yeah, let's look at Bitfinex. Let's just see what the people are talking about. So you guys obviously have to look at the volume as well, because the volume really shows how intense the markets are, because you know, obviously when you're having more volume, it really means that there's a lot of you know, money coming in, people trading here and there and all that stuff. So the moment volume starts declining, then you better expect a drastic move either to the downside or the, you know, the upside as well, because the orders become really thin, and you can like easily go through them. So as you can see right now, the BTC USD longs on Bitfinex are actually around 31,661. Those are, let me just switch over to the logarithmic chart. So we've got about 31,661. So let's compare that with the BTC USD shorts as well, because it's very important to like look at both sides of the scenario. So BTC USD shorts, Bitfinex, let's just try to compare that. So we need to look at the logarithmic. So as you can see, we've got about 21,913 Bitcoin shorts as opposed to 31,661. So as you can see, there are more people who are very bullish because apparently Russia is going to buy a lot of Bitcoin, but I highly doubt. So overall, we are not really that different. There's like an equal amount of people who are both bearish and bullish. So you know, that's a very interesting fact as well. But I would rather see that there's a lot of longs as opposed to a lot of shorts, because you really want you don't really want to be like part of the crowd. You really want to be a contrarian, and right now, I don't know, like a lot of people are beginning to become very bearish. So what do you guys think? Do you think the price of Bitcoin is obviously going to go down or up in the next coming few days? Because I'm not really trying to look forward to like hearing what your perspective of Bitcoin is going to be like in the next 2 years. Of course, the price of Bitcoin is going to go extremely high, because you know, like when you factor in inflation, deflation, obviously Bitcoin is very much on the inflation side of this, you know, the table, because there's obviously going to be fewer and fewer Bitcoins which are going to be flooded, which are going to be offloaded on the market. So obviously it's like a no-brainer. It's obviously going to increase a lot of value. But the most important thing as cryptocurrency traders is obviously trying to find out the highest probability of the next move, like in the coming weeks, in the coming, you know, short term to mid-term period, because this is where a whole lot of money is actually made. So I really encourage you guys to like look at a lot of you know, technical analysis when it comes to trading these cryptocurrencies, because by the end of the day you're going to end up multiplying the whatever amount of money that you have, and during the next bull run you're going to really end up making a whole lot of money. So this is actually one of the reasons why you guys have to like dive deep and try to do as much work as you can when the market situations are very unbearable, because I mean, ultimately this is how you really get to like end up making money in the long run. And you guys can obviously end up opening, I don't know, like venture capital firms. You can end up trading cryptocurrencies for other people, and you can like start up a whole lot of you know, different hustles. So now is the time to like really get down to figure out how these technical charts go about, so that you guys can actually make very good moves. So yeah, as you can see, that's what we have when it comes to the longs and the shorts. And let's try to look at the overall market. The overall market is about 120 billion US dollars. We've got about 16.3 billion US dollars as a 23-hour volume. So the Bitcoin volume is about 5.3 billion US dollars, and obviously we're having a very red day. We are obviously going to have the weekend dump, so you guys better be out of your positions right now. The only thing that you're supposed to be doing is shorting, because we are going to experience a weekend dump as usual. So yeah, I think that's about it. So the other thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about is if you really look at the cryptocurrency market, right? Like sometimes you really get to wonder what really happens first. Does the news affect the price of Bitcoin, or the technical analysis side of Bitcoin affects the news? This is one of the things I was thinking about. So a lot of people really base their trades according to the news that they have, and this is a very wrong mentality, because 9 out of 10 the technicals really make up the news. Like for example, let me give you a classic example, like right around here on the C wave. I remember I was trading Bitcoin, right, and right around this bounce, Bitfinex was having their you know, technical cleanup, and they were going to go you know, offline for like a few hours, and a lot of people started buying Bitcoin. So I was wondering like what a coincidence, and why was this you know, like a planned pump to the upside, or was it the end of the C wave? So as you can see, sometimes the technical part of you know, trading really coincides with the news aspect of everything. Like there's always going to be like some reason, and there's always going to be some type of conclusive part as to why the cryptocurrency chart behaved in a certain way. Like if you guys were using the Elliot waves, you would have obviously anticipated a bounce back to the, you know, to this top right over here if you were following the Elliot wave. But a lot of people who were just trading Bitcoin with regards to the news, a lot of people were saying, oh, the price of Bitcoin is going up because Bitfinex is obviously going to be offline, and a lot of people are closing their positions and they are buying Bitcoin, so this is why it's pumping. So whenever this happens, there's always going to be FUD, there's always going to be great news, but the most important thing is you have to look at the chart. There's one person who said, you know, show me the chart and I'm going to tell you the news. So you don't really need to like listen to the news, you don't really need to have like those biases, because they are, a lot of professional traders are following what's being printed on the charts, and they're following the patterns, they're following like certain codes, and they're doing things according to how things are supposed to be done. So if you guys can really find out exactly those you know, several ways of doing, or rather going about trading, you're going to be recognizing these patterns. So I really encourage you guys to like look at the Elliot waves, try to figure out how they work. And sometimes a lot of different traders have got like different ways of you know, doing their Elliot waves. There isn't like one specific rule, there's like different rules, there's different ways of doing things, and you know, you obviously have to abide by a few rules here and there. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about. So you know, be extremely careful, stay safe. If you guys are going to be trading with leverage, you obviously have to you know, factor in risk and reward, and you don't really have to like over leverage because you're going to end up risking a lot. So the highest amount of leverage that I'm personally using is obviously 3x, because using 10x is like way too dangerous. So without further ado, I think that was enough talking. So I hope you guys loved this one, and I hope you guys are going to have a great day. So take care and hasta la vista.